Hey everyone, this is Charlie the Plug, your host of the Detroit Metro Plug podcast, powered by Empower You Ventures. Don't forget to subscribe so you too can be a part of the biggest empowerment network on YouTube and Facebook. We bring you weekly interviews of Detroit difference makers in the area of entrepreneurship, community involvement, also reaction to business news and community news. This does not happen without your support. Thank you. All right, welcome to episode 138 of the Detroit Metro Plug podcast, where connections matter. I am Charles McKaye, aka Charlie the Plug, bringing you another episode of the Detroit Metro Plug podcast, episode 138 of what we call Detroit difference makers, who are making an impact in our community in the area of entrepreneurship or community involvement. So welcome. Got to throw some air horns up there for there we go. For episode 138. Thank you for those who are watching us live right now on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook. If you have a question for our guest or our topic, please put a question or a comment or a shout out in the comments, and we'll try to highlight you. Also, if you're finding value in what we're doing, please like, share, subscribe. Let the algorithms know that positive, uplifting, informational content is out there and people want to see it so that they'll push it. So we got to trick the algorithm, like, subscribe, share, and should put your comments in. We want to go into our episode for today. I want to a few things. First of all, happy Monday. It's a holiday, MLK Day. So shout out to MLK Day. I went to a few events today. Hopefully you guys who didn't have to work had some time of maybe reflecting. Maybe you're relaxing, but this is a day of what they call a day of service and reflection on the sacrifice that our ancestors was involved in civil rights to make this a better nation. And of course, this was the inauguration. Whether you supported the next president or not, we are in the same country, and let's be prayerful, mindful how we can make this a better nation and participate and letting your voice be heard in this democracy, this experiment for over, 300 years to make it a better place. All right. Now, want to highlight something here. I'm going to bring this slide up here. Pull it to this one. This upcoming event, this is kind of a call to action for big brothers, big sisters. This is a call to action. There's an upcoming event next Tuesday, January 28th, at the Durfee Innovation Society, which is right next to Central in Detroit. Life Remodel has that building. So the Big Brothers, Big Sisters, for those who don't know, I had the guests on last week, and they shared there's a need. There's 200 kids in the Southeast Michigan area who have already been screened and approved to participate in Big Brothers, Big Sisters. They've requested particularly to match with the African-American male mentor. And there's 200 kids, there's a shortage. So I'm just encouraging people to at least come to this meeting or go on the website and find out what's all involved. There are some different ways if you can't make a commitment. There is a year commitment, I think a few hours a month. But there's these kids who looking for positive role models, male role models, mentors. And you don't have to have everything all perfect in your life. They just need someone who have a common interest, checking up on them and showing that you care. That's all you need to be a mentor. You don't have to have now there is a background check, of course, if you're working in the schools and you're dealing with young people. But, some people think that, I can't be a mentor because maybe they feel stagnant in their career, or they think a mentor has to make so much money. Nope. If you just show that you care and have time, you can make an impact. All right, so let's introduce our topic and guest today. All right, let's see, go back here. Okay, so we're going to be talking about literacy, mentorship again, and community transformation. So our guest today, I'm going to do a formal introduction. He was born in Huntsville, Alabama. He was born in Huntsville, Alabama, but he's been a Detroiter since age 4. So we got to give him some applause for that. Also, he has a West Sider, graduate of Mumford High School. Shout out to Mumford High School, the Mustang. He has a particular interest in the area of literacy, working with students and young adults, helping them with workforce development, mentorship. Again, we're talking about mentorship as well this week, and community impact. So he's going to talk more about himself, give a full introduction. But ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 138. Our next guest, Don-Q Patterson.
Well, Charles, thank you for that introduction.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate avenues such as yourself being able to be a community outreach person. The platforms that you all build really connect and make the collaborations that we need in the city to move us forward. For years, we haven't been necessarily working together, probably the best in our best capacity.
Okay.
A lot of us have different resources and things like that, but we got to put it all together.
Mm-hmm.
And, the time is now to put it all together. We have to move aside from, hey, I differentiate from you in some sort of way. But hey, we just got to make sure that we connect with one another and use what we have to help rebuild our community.
Okay, that's good. Now, I want to talk about your role with Beyond Basics. So help our audience, tell us what exactly that organization does. I think they started in 1999, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
that's correct. So Beyond Basic is a 501c3 literacy nonprofit organization geared towards getting children reading.
Okay.
Now, when we started in 1999, our CEO, Pamela Good at the time, she would read to the kids, and she discovered that these children couldn't read.
Mm-hmm.
At first, it was just a coat drive that she started in. She used to go to vulnerable communities, such as the ones over on Joy Road, Southfield area. We know that community can be, a high crime area. And she would go in those communities, go to the schools within those communities, trying to put coats on the children in 1999. And when she discovered that they couldn't read, then she went ahead and transitioned to, hey, she was looking for a curriculum that will work to help these children read.
Right.
And, you kind of wonder, hey, why are these children acting out? Why are they choosing the wrong thing to do in their neighborhoods? Well, when they are missing a critical foundation, such as literacy, then, they feel embarrassed while they're in class.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah.
They feel embarrassed. The kids sometimes make fun of each other. They find out if a student can't read, then the student shuts down.
Right.
They may become a bully. And then it's like all downhill from there.
Right.
So, she kind of saw the writing on the wall during that particular time.
Right.
She had formulated a partnership with, Tatum.
Right.
There's a guy named Steve Tatum. He had built a curriculum that kind of moved away from the whole language approach. The whole language approach has been, and I'll be the one to tell you, it's been holding kids back. Them just looking at a word to try to memorize it is probably not the best way to get them reading and get them to fully comprehend what the word is. Phonics is probably the best way to help decode each word. Therefore, if they come across an unfamiliar word, then they'll be able to work their way through it. So, Tatum Reads, they have been able to help with this now. And we have put together, a couple of curriculums where it has enabled us to be really effective when getting kids reading. Yeah. And, now, we're really able to make a impact in quite a few different communities.
Wow. So a system was developed to effectively help them to get up to speed and challenge their literacy challenges. What's the backstory like? How did you get involved with Beyond Basics? Has there been something? Have you had like your own personal struggles with literacy, or you just have a passion about helping others, or what would you say?
So I definitely have a passion for helping others. I'm gonna give you a little background story of how me and my CEO met. I was actually a mathematics teacher down in Fayetteville, Georgia, and I was talking to a good buddy of mine, Joy Bell. You probably heard of him within the community, former Detroit Lions player. And he was like, hey, I know somebody who's doing something similar to what you're doing for your school. I was teaching at a school called Grace Christian Academy.
Okay.
And he was like, let me connect you with her. So me and my CEO, before she was my boss, we just had a fruitful conversation about what we were doing, where we stood on things. We were talking about different curriculums and, the impact we were trying to make within our communities. And, she wanted to know more about what I was doing at my school. So I kind of explained to her like, hey, I'm teaching mathematics here. I'm a dean of students here at my school. And as she saw that I kind of had experience in, not only teaching, but also building curriculums. I had started a tutoring program there, helped some students get graduated who had been falling behind, and just building plans for them.
Right.
So, she was very intrigued with the work. It was a very fruitful and loving conversation. We definitely talked about God because we had some, parallels there. I always have to say Christ is my Lord and Savior. I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for him.
Right.
So, we have parallels there and, we gelled from there. Mm-hmm. So she was like, hey, I actually need some help in this particular area dealing with the curriculum because she wanted to, build the quality within her, her actual delivery of tutoring.
Right.
And, she was like, are you interested? And I was like, well, you know what? I've been wanting my children to get more acclimated with their family back here because I've been away working for 15 years and my children, they're younger than 15. So they never really had the opportunity to grow with their family, at least my side of the family. And, because my wife's family is in Maryland.
Okay.
So when I saw that opportunity, I was like, you know what? I don't know if we're going to be here for a year or 5 years or forever, but at least my children get to grow with their, get to know their cousins and grow with them for a little bit. Right. So yeah.
Now your expertise in developing curriculum did you study education or what was your training? I don't know if I know we didn't mention where you went to college or if you went to school.
Yeah, definitely went to school. So no, my original background wasn't in education.
Okay.
So I originally, started out school, criminal justice major, where I got my associates, got my bachelor's in Homeland Security.
Okay.
And then I got my master's in management.
Right.
And I'm actually currently working on my PhD right now.
Oh, okay. Wait a minute.
At Liberty University.
Yes. One of those right there. Okay.
Thank you. But yeah.
So you went to Liberty undergraduate?
No, Liberty. I'm
here
for my PhD.
Okay.
Undergrad was UMGC, University of Maryland Global Campus, where I got my bachelor's and my master's there. So it's been an educational journey. Hey, listen, I'm all for lifelong learning.
Right.
I'm always willing to learn something from someone because I don't know everything and I will never know everything. So I'm all in when it comes to education.
Okay.
But at a previous job that I did have, in the corporate setting, I was a leadership instructor.
Okay.
and a leadership facilitator.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I started, instructing adults,
Mm-hmm.
doing some mentorship courses with adults,
Mm-hmm.
reverse mentorship. And, that was kind of like my first exposure when it came to teaching.
Okay.
Then, I had that opportunity at Grace Christian Academy down in Fayetteville, Georgia,
Right.
to go ahead and start teaching children, which, I was really passionate about uplifting kids.
Right.
So when I had that opportunity, I took it. That probably was the most rewarding opportunity I've ever had.
Wow.
One is because I was able to not only help kids graduate on time who didn't really see a pathway to graduation,
Right.
but two, I was leading children to Christ,
Okay.
teaching them about God. So I thought that was more important than anything I could ever do.
Okay.
So yeah, having that experience there, picking up that experience with teaching children there, led me to Beyond Basics and kind of navigating leadership roles within Beyond Basics.
Okay. What is in your experience in the area of literacy? What have you guys with Beyond Basics, or just prior to that? What have you seen in the Detroit area with young kids having reading problems? What's the current numbers?
Yeah, so it's a large literacy gap.
Wow.
When it comes to Detroit. Now, the one thing I can say, the philanthropic donors and the public school system are doing what they can to help fill those gaps. I have to give a huge applaud to DPSCD for all the hard work that they're currently doing, for partnering, not only just partnering with us, but making all the right relationships to help, try to close that literacy gap that's there. They are cognizant that the gap exists, and they are trying to solve it. So we really, really thank DPSCD for the good work that they're trying to do. Detroit always had like this negative connotation on it. You go outside Detroit and, they may say, oh, you're from Detroit, nothing is good there. And there's a lot of good here.
Right.
And there's a lot of good people doing a lot of good work here.
Right.
And, it's not just our organization, it's several organizations.
Right.
And DPSCD recognized that, and they're starting to pull all those organizations together.
Right.
Now, as far as the literacy gaps, it varies. It varies from school to school. It's not just one school. It's not just one classroom that has a literacy gap. And it's not just DPSCD. It's also the surrounding schools. Everyone has a literacy gap. It's just who's going to help solve that literacy complications that's around the Detroit metro area and the rural areas within Michigan.
Right.
And it's not only Michigan.
Right.
So I don't want to make it seem like, hey, Michigan has bad schools. No, it's not just Michigan. And it's not because the schools are bad. They're doing what they can with the resources they have. We are a supplemental program geared towards helping these schools close the literacy gap. You can't learn any other subject without knowing how to read.
Right.
You can't learn any other subject without comprehending what you're reading.
Right. Absolutely.
That's where we come in. So that's where.
Now, how would you define the literacy gap? Is it reading below a certain grade level, or how would y'all define it? So honestly, know what that's about.
Yes. So a literacy gap is when you're not reading at your grade level.
Okay.
So, for example, if you're a ninth grader and you're reading at a fourth grade level, you have a literacy gap of 5.
Wow.
And that happens a lot. And speaking of reading at a fourth grade level, I'm going to give you kind of an eye opener. So reading at a fourth grade level is the same exact level that's a pipeline for prisoners. Right. Exactly. Prisoners.
Do you say adults are reading at fourth grade level? Is a pipeline prison or young adults?
Correct. That is. And that's because the average reading grade level in prisons right now is a fourth grade reading level or below.
Right.
And, we want to stop that from happening.
Right.
So, again, our CEO recognized that. We have a really great CEO. And, I'm not just saying it because she's my boss, but she really has a kind heart for the community. So she recognized that, and she's starting to, make those right relationships that we need for us to be able to stop those things from happening. You know, the juvenile system, it has children there too. They have to learn to. They have to learn how to read.
Right.
So, I have to give a really good shout out to our chief strategy officer, who helped formulate a lot of and cultivate a lot of good relationships throughout the communities. She helped us, touch the community of Children's Village, which is in Oakland County. And she has enabled us to be able to reach those kids there. So by us doing that, we got an opportunity to connect with those children.
Wow.
And some of them were reading at that fourth grade reading level, or below. And we did
What do you think? Man, this is interesting. And what do you think causes people to stop at the fourth grade reading level? What are some of the factors?
Well, usually around that time, like I was kind of alluding to earlier, is some of these children, when they're in these schools and they start to recognize, like, oh, I really can't read, and my peers are head and shoulders above me, then they just give up. They simply just give up. Then they start looking at other avenues, and start getting veered off track.
Right.
So, that's often what gets them into trouble, at that time. And then they get all these labels that they don't deserve, such as, them not being, they can't read, or they having some type of IEP, or, they got some type of learning disability, when that's not the case.
Right.
That is not the case. We had several students who we were told had IEP and was going to be difficult for them to read. And when we got those students, we got outcomes.
Okay.
We either got those kids reading at their grade level or above a lot of the times.
Wow. I think that segues. So that there's a part where they stop, and they get into some other things, some disciplinary things. So what is unique about what you guys do to help them get back up to grade level? What are some interventions that you do to help them to deal with these literacy challenges?
Yeah, so what we do is how we approach it, right? We have a one-on-one literacy session for 60 minutes.
Okay.
Or it goes by the school bell schedule, depending on the format of the school and the environment we're in. If it's a summer program, then we have them for a full hour. And we have them 5 days a week. 5 days a week, just for 1 hour, continuously, progressing through the curriculum that we have constructed, is going to get these kids reading. It's been proven time and time again.
Okay.
Time and time again. And we definitely, urge anyone who has a program out there, who has access to their children, and they know that their kids within their summer youth camps or within their school system know that they have, struggle reading. I challenge them to definitely try our program out. All it takes is one phone call, and we will be willing to assess your children and then get the ball rolling to help you out. Of course, the dollars will have to be there to support it. That's why our donors are so important within the community. We, for those organizations such as GM, being able to sponsor schools such as Cody, we need them. Right. We need them to continue doing that, because that's the only thing that's going to turn around our community.
Yeah. Now, is there a target age group that you primarily work with? Are there elementary, junior high, or?
So we work on all three levels.
All three levels.
Yeah. So we start normally at the third grade level.
Okay.
Because that's usually when, kids are able to focus a little bit more.
Right.
They kind of get out of that, toddler to young littles stage.
Yes.
And they can actually sit through a whole session. And it could be very impactful at that particular time. So starting at the third grade level, all the way up to the 12th grade level, normally in the school system, we have worked with universities also. And then in addition, that I had mentioned to you earlier, we're in workforce development.
Right.
So we're helping adults.
Okay.
You know, it's several adults out there that can't read, and there's no reason for them to feel embarrassed because they're not the only one.
Right.
They're not alone. You know, I can tell you a quick story about my grandfather. You know, my grandfather was reading at a 3rd grade level.
Yeah.
He had 12 children.
Mm-hmm.
He supported 12 children from just junking.
Mm-hmm.
That's how he made his living, junking.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now that was back in the 60s and the 70s. And I can tell you now that junking is not going to pay the bills.
Right.
So it's our responsibility to make sure that we upskill our community, both in the school system and in workforce development.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to give an applaud out to you know, some pivotal people within the community who's doing just that, who's really being just like yourself, a connector of the community. And I would have to say Pastor Jones out at the Pontiac Committee of 50 has put together the community in a glorious way, and he has put all the right people at the table to be able to move the needle.
Okay. That's
and you know, I can't say enough that what he's doing, and in addition to the people that's there who come to those meetings.
Mm-hmm.
So it's such as Carlton Jones of TDC.
Right.
He's doing an excellent job. And, you know, I just want to uplift these pioneers and these pillars within our community, so we can all work together and move the needle forward for our children and for our workforce.
Yes, man. We want to shout out to the pastor in Pontiac that's doing a great work.
Absolutely.
Man, I can't help to think just the impact. So when you help the kids get up to their grade level, do you see some changes in their behavior? Do they have more confidence? What have you personally witnessed?
So I'm gonna tell you a couple of stories around that. You know, and I'm specifically in the juvenile center. We've worked in this previous summer. I had a student there who, you know, when we first got there, we kind of talked to all the kids, you know, see how they were doing, and, you know, just where their head were. We wanted to, you know, kind of make a connection with the kid before we start to tutor them.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the students had mentioned that, hey, you know, after this juvenile system, I think I'm just going to end up going to prison. And, you know, that is heartbreaking.
Right.
You know, I don't ever want any kid, this is a child we're talking about, any child to ever feel like, hey, I don't have any other opportunities in life. I'm just going to go to prison next. Right. We don't want anyone to feel like that.
Right.
So, you know, this particular student got engaged in our program. You know, they were attending every session. They ended up making a really good relationship with their tutor, and their tutor was able to be very pivotal and impactful in that child's life. After that child was done with the program, they moved up a couple grade levels in reading. They said they wanted to be a Beyond Basics tutor.
Wow.
And it was very touching because you know, it helped them open up their eyes. It helped them show them like, hey, I have another way in life. I don't have to go to prison. And basically when you are in the juvenile system, these children, you know, that's all they see is like, hey, I don't see another way out. That's why the reentry programs are so pivotal. Right. We want to be engaged in each one of these programs. We would love to support, you know, Wayne County juvenile system. We would love to support, you know, the Kalamazoo juvenile system, which we are soon to be in pretty soon. And all the juvenile systems, if we can, those are children. Right. You know, those aren't criminals. They just made some wrong decisions because, you know, they probably didn't have the best mentorship at the time. They may not have the best home life. Right. You know, these are kids and they are good kids. All of them are good kids. There's no such, in my book, is no such thing as a bad kid. A kid is going to be a kid. You know, it's just all about how they were influenced at that particular time.
Right. Man, that's awesome. Wow. That's a great testimony. That's a great testimony. I want to, we're going to talk specifically, there's people who are watching and who may watch the replay may want to know more about specifically what Beyond Basics does and how they can get the program if it's not in their school or juvenile system or whatever. So we're going to take a quick break, a little commercial break. Come back. We're going to get specific on the program. We'll share how people can get in contact with you and the different ways that people can engage this program or how they can support. So we're going to do that, and we'll be right back. So let me share this.
Hey, Detroit. Are you a Detroit area small business owner, entrepreneur, leader of a nonprofit organization, or a business service provider? And are you looking for ways to share your product, service, or your programs with a local Detroit audience? Let us help you increase your reach by becoming an ad sponsor with the Detroit Metro Plug podcast powered by Empower You Ventures. Our weekly video podcast is a growing local feature on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn that focuses on local business and community news. This gives you a chance to connect with local Detroit customers or clients. We offer cost-effective ads to fit your needs. Click the link to learn more about our current ad specials. And remember, connections matter. This is Charlie the Plug with the Detroit Metro Plug podcast.
Black Leaders Detroit, they knew that during the pandemic, that Black businesses were going to be left out of any type of funding that the government gave, and they wanted to make sure that they were able to figure out how they could step up and help, because again, this is their community, and they want to make sure that their community is still here when this pandemic is over with. And the only way you can do that is by offering support to your community, and so they stepped up and they did that.
I've been telling everyone I know about Black Leaders Detroit. The things that they're doing is simply amazing. And they're taking care of business for the Black business owners.
It's $1 a week donation to keep this great thing moving. $1 a week keeps it popping. Black Leaders Detroit.
All right, so we're back, episode 138 with Don-Q Patterson with Beyond Basics, and we've been talking about literacy and the impact on young people and young adults, and how there's a silent epidemic of literacy issues. People reading below grade level, particularly stuck at fourth grade level reading, and we discovered that that's kind of a pipeline to the prison or crime or just low functional poverty. And so we want to now get specific with the program. I'm going to share the slides here. I'll get there to this one. All right, so tell us, we got the Beyond Basics tutoring. How does this work, and how can people get involved or have it at their school? How does it work? I'll let you.
Yeah, absolutely. So all it takes is a conversation. Sometimes we do our community outreach, or schools will contact our website, or they will contact us directly, and they will just ask, inquire about, getting literacy to their school. Sometimes they notice that they receive like their iReady scores or some type of testings, NWEA testing, or whatever testing mechanism they have for their children, whether it's a public or a private school. And, when they see that those scores are so low, they start looking for solutions. And one of those solutions, some principals recognize it, some superintendents recognize it, some community leaders, they recognize it. And so they reach out, and, we have a conversation on how we can come there. The first thing that we start doing is, how can we get there? How can we be funded for your community? So, whether it's there's some state funding available, or they may be a local donor in the area, such as, and I could give you an example, such out in Ben Harbor, Whirlpool had sponsored for them to receive their literacy. And, by them having the donor dollars there, that's one step closer to us getting there. We're a turnkey solution. It is nothing that they have to do in regards to the curriculum or literacy themselves. If they have a classroom for us to come to, we can set up a classroom and then have the kids go into the classroom on a bell schedule.
Okay. So it sounds like it's funding through corporate partnerships or individual donors or combination.
Yep. Combination is definitely a combination. Corporate partnerships. It could be local government funding or state government funding.
Okay.
It's just whatever funding is available.
Okay. And how does a school or juvenile system, how do they get things set up?
So the juvenile system is a little bit different. Of course, us coming into their facilities, we gotta, abide by any type of government, protocols or any particular screening for our employees to get in there. So, we go through those normal avenues. We haven't ever had any hiccups getting in there. It was a smooth transition in our partnership with Children's Village, which was a great turnout there. And then within the school system, they kind of do their baseline checks, and then they normally set up the classroom for us. We go right in. We already have a plan put together. We, the most important thing at the beginning of a school year or beginning of a partnership is making sure we have the student roster list, so we can serve. We know what students we're serving. We want to get those students immediately tested. So then we can identify just how large their literacy gap is. Okay. And then we could go in with the right, what we call prescription.
What is the capacity in terms of like tutors, the ratio of students you work with if you're in a school system?
Yeah, so we can work with as many students as possible, whatever's needed. Mm-hmm. We strategically split it up within quarters. And then, we kind of tackle the amount of students from there. In regards to the ratio, as far as students to tutors, is normally 6 to 1.
6 to 1. Okay.
6 to 1. Mm-hmm. And on the bell schedule, we have the students rotate into the classroom. It normally replaces either like a computer class or something like that, or if it's a high school where we're baked into their schedule at times, but they just rotate in on the bell schedule.
How do you guys recruit tutors? Are they volunteers? Are they paid staff? They get assigned? Or
So the community is everything. Right. Our tutors are people, the moms and dads, the aunts and uncles, the brothers and sisters of the community. Everyone, we do all our hiring from within the community. So if we're serving Detroit, we're looking to hire Detroit personnel. If we're serving one of the suburb areas, well, we probably going to look out there in the suburbs to see if we can hire someone from out there. We want it to be a short commute for the tutors if we can. Sometimes it don't always work out that way, but we want to make it as convenient as possible for our tutors to be able to attend these schools. And speaking of convenience, we recently just built a robust virtual platform working with one of our partners. Okay. So now we do virtual tutoring. We're able to do hybrid sessions, still one-on-one tutoring for 1 hour, and it can be baked into a classroom. It also can be available to families at their homes. Okay, so families, schools, juvenile facilities like Children's Village, I think, what's the one? Vista Maria, stuff like that. Now, so it sounds like you meet the curriculum. Is it an hour a day, hour a week? How does it normally set up? Yep, 1 hour a day, for 5 days. For 5 days. That is the preferred. We can. How many weeks does it normally go? It normally goes for. It just depends on the program. Okay. It could be a 6-week program, okay, or 10-week program. 10-week program. 6-week or 10-week. Okay. No, we're good. You're good. No. Oh no, you're good. You're good. You're giving out a lot of information, so you gotta freshen up your throat there. That's good. So I wanted to. So it's an hour a day. Could be 6 months. No, not 6 months. 6 weeks to 10 weeks. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. So let me share.
Hey, Detroit. Are you a Detroit area small business owner, entrepreneur, leader of a nonprofit organization, or a business service provider? And are you looking for ways to share your product, service, or your programs with a local Detroit audience? Let us help you increase your reach by becoming an ad sponsor with the Detroit Metro Plug podcast powered by Empower You Ventures. Our weekly video podcast is a growing local feature on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn that focuses on local business and community news. This gives you a chance to connect with local Detroit customers or clients. We offer cost-effective ads to fit your needs. Click the link to learn more about our current ad specials. And remember, connections matter. This is Charlie the Plug with the Detroit Metro Plug podcast.
Okay, so we're back. Our guest, water. He drank some water and kind of went in the wrong way, or whatever. So he's getting himself together. But I wanted to share the website here. I'm going to share my screen, and here's the website. Okay, so here is the Beyond Basics website. You can go to beyondbasics.org, beyondbasics.org, and you'll see the information about student achievement grade level movement in 6 weeks. Here's a little bit of information. Who are we? So we talked a little bit about this at the intro. They are a 501c3 nonprofit organization founded in 1999, dedicated to enhancing literacy among students. Our student-centered approach is intensive, holistic, and multi-sensor, firmly rooted in phonics. So that's kind of the history. Let's see. They offer online tutoring. If you click on there, you can register. Let's see, upcoming events. I'm not sure if there was any upcoming events. Oh yeah, March the 14th, 2025, Townsville Hotel, literacy opens the door to a brighter future. So there's an event, Beyond Basics annual event. I'm assuming this is a fundraiser, but mark your date on March 14th, 2025. So this is the website. You can notice in the top there's an email, info@beyondbasics.org. There's a phone number, 248-250-9304. 248-250-9304. There's the number there. Let's see. All right, you good? You good? Sorry. All right, I'm good. All right. All right, so I was just showing the website, and there was an event I saw there on March 14th.
Yeah, so March 14th. Which event you're alluding to? We had quite a few.
Oh, okay. All right. I went to upcoming events, and it's the Beyond Basic annual event coming together.
Yes. So our annual event is where we get everyone together, our donors, our company, and we kind of, just it's a nice event we have at the town center, and it's a way for us just to have a good night.
Okay. All right. So as we kind of wrap things up, I want to give the people a chance to. So I was sharing the website, the contact number. What is the first step in getting the program in their school, or what would you recommend them do to learn more about the program?
They should just reach out to us.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
Just reach out. Now, is it okay to, we do have your information on here. Let's see. Should they reach out to your email or go to the website, or what's the best way?
Yeah, so either one will work. The beyondbasics.org goes to our email for our receptionist, and of course they could contact me directly.
Okay, so there's the information. We'll have this in the show notes. There's the email, dpatterson@beyondbasics.org. There's a website, beyondbasics.org. What's the best way we can be of support? How can the community support what you guys are doing, your initiatives?
Well, they can actually, if they want to be a donor, that'll be awesome. If they want to volunteer for us, they could give us a call, email us, and say exactly where they would like to fit in. We have an annual coat drive. And you have to excuse me in my voice, but we have an annual coat drive that goes on each year. Right before it starts to get cold, we start our coat drive to try to have coats on kids before the winter starts.
Okay.
So like now, how we in negative temperatures, we still have people who are donating. We are very grateful for all of our individual families who donate their coats and things like that. We appreciate everything. Everyone who volunteered to, put covers on books for us, because we also do enrichment programs within the schools. We appreciate every single person who put together things with Beyond Basics.
Okay. So they can donate. They go to the website and donate. And is there a minimum monetary donation, or it doesn't matter?
It is no minimum donation.
Okay.
Since we started the virtual platform, we have a lot of families who can't afford the entire program. So they can elect to donate into those avenues. And then that'll allow us to give.
Well, somebody can donate, sponsor a child or something like that.
Correct. They can sponsor.
What does it normally cost for the online platform?
So right now, the online platform is $50 a session.
Okay.
That right now that is our special we have going on.
Okay.
But eventually it may increase as time goes.
And when you're in the schools, is that something you work out with the school system and get some type of corporate partnership, or if the school has the budget for it?
Yes. So we normally work with the districts if it's public, and then if it's a private school, we work right with the head of school.
Now, what about the faith community? Can they use these services as well?
Yeah, they absolutely can.
Programs, or?
They absolutely. It's just all about us finding the right dollars for them, or they come to us, with their donors, and then they request our services.
Okay. What's the biggest need right now? It's volunteers. Like, what's the process of volunteering? They have to go through training, screening, or?
So we train everyone. Anyone who works with us, anything that we have them work on, we train them and get them prepared for whatever it is that they're volunteering for. Some of them are very simplistic, whether it's organizing coats or something like that.
Right.
That's nothing that's training is needed for. But if they're doing anything else with us, we'll make sure that they're trained for the job.
Okay. All right. Great. Oh, wow. So I think we covered. Is there anything we missed? I shared the website, the need for volunteers, people can donate. Any closing announcements or remarks that you have?
Yeah, so one thing that I always like to say is we have all the resources, right? We come as a turnkey solution for the community, and the community if you know that your community is in need of these services, reach out to us. This is the time, it's 2025. We have a new president in office. We have new people who are going to be leading the country, and it's our time to lead our community. We have to collaborate on our level and be able to take care of our communities. We can't solely rely just on our government or some other entity to just take care of us. Right. We have to put our best foot forward as a community.
Right. All right. So now's our time to take care of our communities. Get involved, volunteer. Let me share the slide again so people can see. There's the website. This is you can connect with Don-Q Patterson on LinkedIn. There's his email, his website, the website for Beyond Basics. Listen, we got to stand up for our community. No one's coming to save us. We got to work together and collaborate and be part of the solution. So want to encourage people to, if you're interested in volunteering or inquiries about having a program at your school, or maybe your faith-based institutions or after-school program, consider Beyond Basics. Consider Beyond Basics. All right. Well, that wraps up our podcast or episode 138. We want to thank our guests today, Don-Q Patterson. Make sure you follow him on LinkedIn. Our platform is about celebrating those who are doing positive things in our community. You're definitely a difference maker in what you're doing with your family, as well with Beyond Basics and promoting tutoring. It was an honor to have you on our show and talk about. So I hope that we can really get involved and have people who watch this support and find out ways that we can make an impact. Can you imagine that a lot of kids, 4th grade reading level, that's a straight pipeline to prison and poverty. And if we want to make sure our young people are doing well, they're not getting having in a negative engagement with law enforcement or prison or poverty, we got to make sure they can read. If they're going to, we're moving to a tech-oriented, artificial intelligence, tech-oriented jobs, engineering. If they can't read, they won't be able to do the math. They won't be able to figure out things, and they'll be left out. And so here's a solution to help people to get back to build their confidence and transform our communities through literacy. So that's it. So, all right. So thanks again, man. Appreciate you. That wraps up our podcast today. Happy Monday again. And we'll see you next week.
Hey, everyone. This is Charlie the Plug, your host of the Detroit Metro Plug podcast, powered by Empower You Ventures. Don't forget to subscribe so you too can be a part of the biggest empowerment network on YouTube and Facebook. We bring you weekly interviews of Detroit difference makers in the area of entrepreneurship, community involvement, also reaction to business news and community news. This does not happen without your support. Thank you.